It's 9:24 on the 12th of January. Make the camera. Hey, look at this. I'm looking at Mobius strips. This is a single flip Mobius strip. It's got one surface and one edge. But I've been making Mobius strips with 3 flips. This is a Mobius strip with 3 flips. And I've been cutting those down the middle. You can see that when you add an extra edge, you add an extra boundary and a new edge. This is the Mobius strip here. As a cut down the middle. And you can see that when you pull it apart, you get an overhand knot. Here's the overhand knot. Now this is a loop that has 8 twists in it, 2 edges, and 2 surfaces. And if you add some intersections to these, you can see how it wants to be intersected. If you add 6 intersections, you can get things that look like this. And these fall into 2 groups. There is the figure of 8 group that has 2 loops on itself. And there's the trefoil group that has a trefoil knot and 3 loops. It either has 3 loops, or a loop and a loop and a loop, or 3 loops in itself somewhere inside of this. Here's an example of the knot diagram of the figure of 8 knots with 2 loops, and here's the trefoil knot with the 3 loops. There's a third group that I just found today. There's a group that I call the braid group. This here is the same Mobius strip as such. I've organized it into a braid. You can see it's got 5 loops in it and it sits flat. Here's the knot diagram for this one right here. I call it the braid group. There's also 6 crossings. There's also 6 crossings in this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've been doing extended Gauss notation on this knot diagram, and I went trying to reproduce this knot diagram today. We flip the page. Here's what I call number 35 right here, and here's what I call number 36 right here. Unfortunately, these have 8 crossings in them. They're a bit of a anomaly. What's interesting is that when you make it as a braid, you get all the white surface on the inside and all the black surface on the outside. What I mean by a braid is that you can draw a different representation of the Mobius strip as a braid to take account for the crossings. And bearing in mind that in this coil right here, there's 5 loops in the coil, but this coil accounts for the 8 twists. And so that's the only example that I found. So I believe there's the figure of 8 group, there's the trefoil group, and there's now a braid group that represents knot diagrams of a Mobius strip that's been cut down the middle. Here's our cut Mobius strip. And I'm still trying to figure out a way to count all of the possible knots based on the knot notation, but that's proving very difficult. So I believe there's 3 groups. Oh, and here's a Mobius strip that is this type of paper model that has 8 crossings. That represents one of these type coils. So I'm finished. Don't film me.